Hi everyone and welcome along. We're back in the studio this week and we've got a brand new setup. You might have seen it on social media, but we have upgraded a little bit. We've got some amazing wall-mounted camera constructions now to hold our cameras and kit, and yeah, it's just freed me up a bit on the desk. I used to have my little scaffolding pipe tube that I had to kind of duck under every time I sat down to paint. So anyway, today we are using all the information that I gained from looking at the paints last week and looking at the cadmium alternatives. And today I am going to show you my 2025 palette. So all the colours that I'm putting into my palette for this year. We've got a few brand new ones that I've never mentioned before and I've never used before, so I'm really excited. So if you are looking for a palette refresh and you want to see what colours I'm using this year, this is the video to watch. So grab your paints and let's get started. With our new camera setup, I'm able to just get a little bit more zoomed out so that we can see the palette in more full form, and we're going to be able to have more space for mixing on camera, which I'm really excited about. But what I did is I've put all my paint tubes out, and the cool thing is you know, the reason it's a good thing to review your colours every now and then is because you'll realise there are colours you're just not using. This was always a bit of a mystery colour. Hooker's green I don't use that often, and yeah, there are just some others. Obviously we've looked at swapping out cadmium-free, cobalt-free ones. And actually, since last week, what's been so wonderful, and this is why I love YouTube so much, is in the comments you had some really interesting things to add, like the cadmium-free versions of some of the paints we're looking don't have a very good light fastness in their quality. So I went back and I had another look at my swatches, and I've decided for my cadmium orange replacement I'm going to go for Daniel Smith Permanent Orange, and for cadmium yellow I've gone for Hansa Yellow Medium. And then also the fact that Verdita Blue, which had been my winner for my cobalt blue, turns out it still has cobalt in it. So, you know, like I will say, I know some of you will go, what is the problem? It's such a tiny amount. You are absolutely right. It is a teeny weeny amount, but it's just something I'm quite interested to see if I can get to a point where my palette doesn't have those colours in. But I'm sure you're also knowledgeable. There's probably other colours in here that have problematic elements, but you know, it's a work in progress. So this is where I am with the knowledge I have right now. So I'm going for cerulean blue, red shade. Then aqua green down here instead of cobalt turquoise. And then I have my very, very precious last ever tube of sap green by De La Rowney, artist quality. And I don't know if we'll ever see another tube of that again, but this is going into the palette along with some other tones. And then I have two new colours, brand new. I used Potter's Pink on a little Valentine's card earlier in the month, and Quinacridone Gold, I've just seen a lot of people use it and I think it's a really gorgeous colour. It looks like it might be very similar to Yellow Ochre at this point, but I think it's going to be lovely and special. Now, what I've decided, because it's such a fresh start, it feels like, I've actually got myself a brand new Loxley folding palette. This is the palette that I've been using all this time, and all I did is I just cracked it in two and used two separate pieces. So that's what we'll do eventually. So I'm going to now work through placing all my new colours in, and we'll get a nice new order because some of these are a bit quirky in their positions. So I've split the palettes in half, and we're first going to deal with the equivalent of this palette. So I'm really aware that obviously you've watched my tutorials and got used to me painting from certain colours from certain areas, so I'm keen to try and keep that at least similar in terms of the areas. So if I just shove it up here. So we are going to put green gold, or put our greens down here. Now I have got a very clever little tool that I was given by one of my workshop attendees. It's a bit painty at the moment, which is, some of you may recognise this from squeezing the last of the toothpaste out, but it's a really helpful way of sort of twisting your tube to get the last bits of paint out. So there'll be times where we use that, but I used it on this one a while ago to get some colour out. So I'm just going to really enjoy filling my new palette. Now, in terms of prepping a new palette for use, I have a YouTube tutorial on that in my Watercolour for Beginners playlist. Now, I know some people prefer to put their colour up there and let it run down because there's a bit of a slope here, but I've just always enjoyed having it in here. So, you know, the great thing is whilst I am a watercolour teacher, I'm also just a fellow watercolour enthusiast. So now we've got Deep Sap Green by Daniel Smith going in. This colour proved to be a really useful colour last year. So this is what works for me, but you may well find a different route for you. So Aqua Green, this is one of the new ones. So I thought this is sort of that greeny blue. It's a good transition shade. And also Mayan Blue Genuine, which I love, but I didn't get much of a chance to use it with the last palette configuration because it was off in the bottom corner, and I always felt like, well, I probably shouldn't be using that too much because you can't see it. Now, Prussian Blue, here we go. This is quite a good example of being able to use the twisty thing. So I'm just going to spin it round, and it just pushes all the paint up to the top. And that is a paint that I've had a very, very long time. Okay, next we've got Windsor Blue, which is a lovely colour. Oh, my hands are cold this morning. This is quite a cold studio at the moment, so the paints are really quite dense. So I've got Cerulean Blue Red shade, which is my cobalt blue replacement, and I'm just going to twist this in here. I imagine that these little key tools are probably readily available on the internet, but if you can pop in the comments below, what do you call one of these? Because I'm not sure what I would be searching for. Okay, next we've got French Ultramarine, and I love the Daniel Smith colour. Really nice. Then we've got Moon Glow, which is another Daniel Smith. Really feels like I'm moving a lot over to Daniel Smith these days. Moon Glow is beautiful, shady, kind of aubergine, dark colour. Then we've got good old Payne's Grey. My Payne's Grey is from Winsor & Newton, and it always feels quite bluey, but it is a lovely colour. By the way, don't worry, I will be transporting these hard-working palettes up to my office where I will be using all the paints, so don't you worry. And then we've got Winsor & Newton Ivory Black. Pop this up in the corner so this remains in the same place, because we don't use a lot of pure black. Now, some of you may have noticed I've got a few colours that are just from the Cass Art own brand, and they've just been really fantastic. They've been a bit lifesavers of times when I've run out of a colour. Like, this is all I've got left of burnt sienna. This is not good, but they are absolutely fantastic colours. I'm a big fan of the Cass Art own brand paints, so I do have these in my kit, and they are very useful, sort of useful staples if I haven't bought enough. But I think it is time to get myself a new burnt sienna. Okay, then we've got Burnt Umber from, I've got Winsor & Newton here, but that is, oh my goodness, that is rock hard. I don't think I can use that. So, ooh, we've got an opening. We have an opening. And you know what the beady-eyed among you might have noticed? Earlier when I was talking about yellow ochre, I actually had some raw sienna I thought was yellow ochre. So maybe let's try raw sienna instead. I know it's a different colour entirely, but Why not? We might end up with a whole load of golden tones. Here's raw umber. Now this might be a good one. This might be a real silly thing to do, getting it out without the, there we go, getting the key on it without the lid on, but that's worked. And then finally, quinacridone gold, which is a Daniel Smith, that is a colour I've seen people use and I think it looks really gorgeous. It's quite rich. Oh, that's lovely. It's kind of like a hazelnut colour. So I look forward to using that. But yeah, I'll be listing all my colours in the episode notes below. So that is 2024, 2025. So up here is 2024 palette. Down here are the new, well, many of the original colours, some of the new ones, and in a slightly rejigged order. So let's start with Imperial Purple, Daniel Smith. This has been a great colour. I've really enjoyed having that in my palette over the last year. Then I'm going to move Opera Rose over next to it because it is a cool pink. So it's got slightly more bluey tones. Permanent Rose, a very, very hard working colour in my palette, but it's sort of, I don't know, it's had a bit of a rest recently. I mean, I guess Christmas isn't really the time for pinks, but I suppose it got a new lease of life back at Valentine's Day. Okay, new colour alert, Potter's Pink. I think it feels right to go somewhere in here. It's that kind of lovely dusky pink colour. I look forward to using it. It's quite a granulating Potter's Pink, the one I have. Then we've got Alizarin Crimson, and you can see I used the key to get the paint out. This is very satisfying. I hope you're enjoying it, even though it's not action-packed with painting. Then we've got Organic Vermilion, which is taking the place of my Cadmium Red. Beautiful red. Pyrrole Orange, which has been a real star of last year's palette. It sort of came in halfway through the year and did really well. Then we've got Permanent Orange, which is my sort of last minute choice for cadmium orange replacement. Lovely colour. Then we've got I've got two Cass Arts actually in here. My Yellow Ochre. Whoops. A little bit liquidy. And then Hansa Yellow Medium is going to be my cadmium yellow replacement. And I feel like even with it not being sort of 100% exactly like it, I really liked it, and I feel like with the rest of my colours I can always mix what I want exactly. Okay, so the last one, Buff Titanium, a real wonderful new colour I learned all about probably about a year and a half ago. If you don't have Buff Titanium, I highly recommend you consider it because it's a little bit sort of creamier and it makes a really useful addition to a lot of the white flower petal bases that I mix up. And yeah, it's just a really, really useful colour to have. Okay, so goodbye and thank you. And hello, my new palette for 2025. So like I said, this is a plastic palette. It's called the Loxley Folding Palette and it's widely available. It's really very affordable, and you've even got a little thumb hole and you can stick your brushes in there if you're the kind of person who likes to stand and paint. But we do have a tutorial all about prepping the surfaces. It is wise to do a little bit of get a little bit of friction in there with a little bit of wire wool, or some people use wax crayons, Pritt stick, all sorts of things just to get a little bit of texture in the mixing wells to prevent too much beading. But for now, I will say thank you so much for watching and checking out my brand new set of colours for, well, the remainder of 2025. I'll see you again next time.